Today's game features the Dragons with student athletes from Brunswick and Freeport versus your Rams with student athletes from Gorham and Massabesic. The Maine Principals Association and SNAA member schools request that you please model good sportsmanship. Please refrain from derogatory cheers, chants, or behavior directed towards the students, coaches, officials, or fellow spectators. We request your cooperation in supporting these participants and officials in a positive manner. Gorham High School would also like to remind everyone that the use of alcohol, tobacco products, electronic cigarettes, and vaping devices is strictly prohibited at all school-sponsored activities. And for your safety, please pay attention during gameplay as pucks can leave the playing surface at any time. And now, here are today's starting lineups. First for the visiting Dragons, starting on defense is senior, the captain, number 3, Ethan Patterson. On defense, a junior, number 24, Ned Bowen. At left wing, a senior, assistant captain, number 17, James Salco. At right wing, a freshman, number 5, Jonah Kittinger. At center, a senior, number 20, Nate Rathbone. Starting goal, a junior, number 1, Mike Shoemaker. The Dragons are coached by Dennis Hatcher. And now for your home Rams, starting on defense, a senior, assistant captain, number 9, Jackson Alton. On defense, a sophomore, number 16, Zach McCormick. At left wing, a freshman, number 18, Grayson Doyle. At right wing, a freshman, number 13, Cam Bork. At center, a junior, number 2, Sawyer Smith. And starting a goal, a sophomore, number 31, Grant Peters. The Rams are coached by Sean Sullivan. Assistant coaches are Scott Evers, Chris Root, and Zach Ellsworth. At this time, we'd like to ask you to please stand if you are able and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the University of Southern Maine for the final regular season matchup for the Brunswick Freeport Dragons as they take on the Rams of Gorham and Massabesic. The Rams come in at 13-4 and first place in Class B South. They have 20 players from Gorham High School and 8 from Massabesic. First year of this co-op for Gorham. Last year they were just Gorham, and Massabesic played with Biddeford and Old Orchard Beach. That team split up. Biddeford went to York. That's who the Dragons just played on Monday, losing 6-0. And then the Massabesic boys went over to Gorham, and that's who the Dragons will play today. Ethan Patterson back in the lineup. He had been eased in the past couple games, playing some forward, playing a few shifts, but it does appear that he's going to have his full role here this afternoon, and that's just fantastic for the Dragons. The best player on the team, number 3 in black. Going to need him on defense. Last time these two teams played, the Rams won 3-1. Fantastic game by Michael Shoemaker in that game. And they'll need another big one out of him. Dorsey versus Sawyer Smith. The opening draw is won by Dorsey back to Ned Boak. Boak will dump it towards the net, broken up by Jackson Altham. Rims it around the boards. Patterson will rocket it wide right of the net. puck will get through to Smith. Smith enters the offensive zone and has it blocked by the aforementioned Captain Ethan Patterson. Knocked up the ice. McCormick takes over for the Rams, and he has got speed as he will carry through the neutral zone. He gains the offensive zone, gets under Avery Sampson, his first game back after being sick on Monday. Patterson, Dorsey could not make the catch, and it is Ram possession. Salco knocks it around the back wall, and will go to work on the forecheck as Altham takes over for the Rams. Rathbone takes over the puck. He will fire over the net. Good chance for the Dragons early on. It is Grant Peters, the sophomore from Gorham, in net for the Rams. Last time the Dragons played the Rams, it was Peyton Wilkins in net. Waterman gives it up the ice for Wagner, the leading goal scorer for the Rams. Levi Wagner, backhand centering pass looking for Julio. Waterman is knocked down from behind by Sampson, who will fall. No call there on Sampson. Here is a shot by Wagner, blocked by the leg pad of Shoemaker. Wagner wraps around, and the puck will bound out to Collins. Shoemaker makes the save. Goal was off its pegs. It feels like it had been off for a little while, but the ref just waited. I guess, beware, do they wait until, if the offensive team has possession when the goal's off its pegs, do they have to wait?
Depends on the ref.
Interesting. Third line of forwards out for the Dragons today. It is Theo Lyons, Tyler Landry, and Nicky Heaston. And here is Heaston giving up the ice to Landry, gains his own. Landry, nice pass across to Heaston. Back to Patterson. He'll wind up, and save made by Peters. Puck is taken over by Wyatt McCoy for the Rams. He'll give it up the ice to Connor Rounds. Rounds stripped of the puck by, guess who, Ethan Patterson. Lyons trying to exit the zone, and he does with Nicky Heaston. He'll knock it around the back wall and get a change. Back on come Dorsey, Bowditch, and Copeland. Jamison Palmer out today with an injury, so it's Carter Copeland on that first line with Dorsey and Bowditch.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything?
3 minutes here into the first period. We thank you all for joining us here on Brunswick High Sports Network. Connor Schofield running our scoreboard this afternoon, sponsored by Singer Domingo Sportside Real Estate. Copeland trying to exit the zone, cannot. Shot is blocked by Avery Sampson. Recovered, save made by Shoemaker off his face mask. Copeland knocks it nearly into the Dragon bench. It hit off the glass though. Sampson will track the puck down, gets through to Bowditch. Bowditch centering past nobody home, exits the zone to Bobuff. Chris Clapp will settle the puck behind Peters' net. Sent up the ice for an icing. Dragons will get their first offensive zone face-off. I believe it's their first offensive zone face-off. Salco, Kittinger, and Rathbone back out on the ice for the forwards. Ned Boak and Ethan Patterson. So a kind of rare all five Brunswick players on the ice for Brunswick Freeport at the moment. There are more Brunswick players than Freeport, but Patterson will knock it off the back wall. Recovered by Jackson Altham. And a nice pass up the ice as Waterman gains the zone. He will get underneath Boak, and Waterman falls under his own volition. So he won't get the shot off. Patterson takes over behind Shoemaker's net. Sends up the ice and it's caught by Nat Rathbone. Rathbone gives it up to James Salco. Salco will try to toe drag on McCormick, but McCormick takes the puck away. McCormick will get the puck back and gain the zone as Boak falls. McCormick backhand is saved by Shoemaker. Rathbone carries into the neutral zone. Surrounded by Rams, dumps it off the back wall. Dragons get a change. They'll send back on that third line. Bobuff and Sampson now out as a defensive pairing. Wagner gains the zone. He fires, save made by the glove of Shoemaker. Wagner will recover the puck. Backhands it into the high slot. Shot by McCormick. Blocker save by Shoemaker. Recovered by Tyler Landry. Here's Heaston. Knocks down Waterman. Landry off the wall. Recovered by Connor Rounds. Lions will knock the stick out of Altham's hands with his shot. Knocked back to Bobuff in the defensive zone. And Lions knocks down. That time it was Wyatt McCoy. Rounds gains the zone, but is broken up by Bobuff. Rounds rifles over the net. Andrew Collins gains the zone, surrounded by Dragons. Backhands towards Croto. Shoemaker covers. Last night on Brunswick High Sports Network, you guys, a lot of you were watching, so I assume we got some crossover. Brunswick boys basketball won a fantastic game over the Edward Little Red Eddies, and they advanced to the Class A North Final against Camden Hills, 8:30 tomorrow night. Drew Wilson knocks it off the wall. Copeland clears the zone, but Andrew Collins takes back over for Gorham. Peroto is able to win that puck through Dorsey, and he'll fire. Glove save made by Shoemaker. That puck was headed straight for the upper 90s, so Shoemaker with a nice stop. Shots on goal led by Gorham, 9-2 at the moment. Rathbone, Salco, Kittinger back out for the Dragons. It's Patterson and Drew Wilson, the defensive pairing. Sam Jansen's still out. Patterson can't clear the zone. Shoemaker paddles to Wilson. Up ice. Kittinger couldn't handle it. Salco knocks to Rathbone, though. Recovered by Andrew Collins. Collins through the neutral zone. Fires, blocker save by Shoemaker. The puck was headed wide. Patterson recovers in the corner. Bumped into the boards by Collins. That shoulder looks fine for number 3 in black. It is just very good to see him back in his full role. Hope to see a big hit from him at some point. That is his specialty. Shot is broken up by James Salco, and he sends it up the ice for an icing. Offensive zone face-off for the Rams. Bobuff and I got it. That's Ryan Nihill still playing defense. Ryan Nihill played forward throughout the whole season, but with Sam Jansen out and Avery Sampson out last game, Nihill played defense, and now he will stay at that position. Shot off the face-off save by Shoemaker. Waterman knocks it. Nihill, a nice hit on Wagner. The Lions will try to clear the zone, cannot. Kept in. Now Bobuff, or rather Nihill, also cannot clear it. Tulio to Wagner, up ice, wide open is clap save made by Shoemaker. Rather, that was Schaffer who put it on net. Here's Levi Wagner, once again the leading goal scorer for the Rams. Waterman has it, fans on the centering pass, and Easton tries to clear the zone too far for Lions. Landry stripped of the puck by Schaefer. Ryan Nihill under pressure from Schaefer knocks it around the boards. Waterman can't handle it, sent up the ice. Linesman says the puck was deflected, no icing. Schaefer sends it up for Waterman off his blade. Ethan Patterson takes over, and he will take it himself into the zone. Patterson will wrestle that puck and be knocked down, and he takes a hard collision into the back wall, and that is the worst sight you could possibly see. Patterson is grasping at his shoulder. That is just awful. In his third game back, Patterson is, not sure if he was tripped or not, but that is just a horrible thing to see. The left shoulder is what was hurt for Patterson. He appears to be grabbing at his right. So, could be a new injury for the captain, but I just assume he re-injured his left, and that's what is in pain. But anyway, you sliced it, a horrible thing. The best player on the team out for 3, maybe he missed a 4th game. I think it was just 3 games out, but then 2 games in a minor role. Now finally back in his major role, and appears to be hurt again. Just a horrible thing to see for the Dragons. And that was their best offensive chance this game, was Patterson creating offense himself. And yeah, it was a hard collision. Yeah, he was spinning out of control. Can't really call it a trip, but Waterman did trip him, yeah. Waterman did trip, and then he spinned around and then hit his right shoulder really hard into the boards. So maybe his left is okay. That would be great. Altham sends across, and up ice is Tyler Croto into the zone, fires over the net. McCoy. Dorsey strips McCoy of the puck, gives it up to Copeland. Off target, but now here's Cole Bowditch entering the zone. McCormick gets back on defense. Bowditch knocks it off the back wall. Copeland trying to win the puck back and sent up the ice. The puck bounds to Croto. McCormick has it, and he gains the zone. McCormick fires wide of the net. Copeland, a nice pass to Bowditch. Can he win that race with Altham? Look at that height difference between number 9 in white and number 9 in black. Bobuff's got it in the defensive zone. Knocked to Sampson. Avery Sampson off the wall. Dorsey deflects it. Here's McCormick again, pressured by Dorsey. Sawyer Smith trying to get around Kittinger. Sends up the ice. Smith paddled out of harm's way by Shoemaker. Rathbone trying to exit the zone. And he does. You're going to have a penalty, though. It'll be a hook against Cam Bork, the freshman forward from Massabesic. And very interesting, at USM, the penalty box opposite from both benches. A lot of hockey rinks, they have everything on the same side. So we have Bork right on our side and the 2 team benches on the other. So that will force Bork to go right onto the ice instead of getting a man on and going right to the team bench. But first penalty in a power play. Let's see if, let's go. Connor Schofield did know to put up the power play on your scoreboard, sponsored by Singer Domingo Sportside Real Estate. Great to see. Connor Schofield, an 8th grader, goalie in both hockey and lacrosse. I'm sure you'll see him all over BHSN next year. Here's James Salko opening the slot. Salko stripped of the puck. Rathbone is going to draw a penalty. Rathbone, the leader in penalties for the Dragons, ends the Dragon power play as quickly as it came. It's a hold against number 20 in black. He came in with 13 penalties. That is his team most, 14th. So we'll have 4-on-4 for 1:39, and then the Gorham power play. Do you think Schofield, he does know to take the power play off the scoreboard. Just great stuff from the 8th grade goalie. Just love to see it. But 4-on-4 is what we'll have. McCormick stripped by Dorsey, giving up the ice to Bowditch. Dragons have 3 forwards out there with 1 defenseman in Avery Sampson. McCormick gains the zone, gives it up a beautiful cross crease pass to Waterman, who had that whole side of the net open other than Shoemaker's stick, but unable to bury it. Will stay scoreless. Waterman gives it back to Wagner. Wagner centering pass back to Waterman. Collins has the puck bounced right over his blade, and he'll collect in the defensive zone. Collins shot from the high slot, blocked by Avery Sampson off the wall. Nobody home. McCormick's got it. Salko comes on for Kittinger, or rather Copeland. Rifle wide of the net. The rebound goes right back to McCormick, though, broken up by Dorsey. We have another whistle for something. And the goal is back off its pegs. Gotcha. Second time that's happened. It's that same post as last time. James Salko will take the face-off with Rathbone out in the penalty box. Waterman's open. Along the wing, gives it back to Collins. Shot save Shoemaker. The rebound goes right to Waterman, though. He'll make the second save. Shot is off the post by Andrew Collins. A nice looking shot. Left back to Jonah Kittinger, who gains the zone. Trying to get underneath Collins. Puck goes to Boak. Boak knocks it, and that will release Cam Bork. It's a 5-on-4 for the Rams for the next 10 seconds. And Connor Schofield threw it up on the scoreboard. Just fantastic stuff. You just love to see it. Centering pass, Rathbone is released. We're back to 5-on-5 play, and that goes in the back of the net. Jammed in the pipe. Shoemaker's asking for something, but credit the goal to Levi Wagner. And it's 1-0 Rams. I wonder if Shoemaker was asking if the goal came off its pegs or not. And it did. The goal appears to have been off its pegs, and the puck was jammed in that far side pipe. So I'm not quite sure how that goal can count. If the puck only snuck in because the goal was knocked back. But I guess if Shoemaker was the one who knocked the goal off, which he most likely was, then it would still count. But the puck would not have gone in if he didn't knock it off. That is a bizarre rule scenario here. The goal would not have gone in if Shoemaker didn't knock it off, but since Shoemaker was the one to knock it off.
Somebody call now.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Shoemaker had his left pad pinned up against that left post, and at some point his skate knocked the post off, creating a little crevice that then the puck snuck in. But it's a good goal since Shoemaker was the one to knock it off. So
Rams goal scored by
that's
number
interesting.
24, Levi Wagner.
Can't say I've seen that one happen before, but I don't know how you can blame Shoemaker for knocking the goal off when it's come off 3 times this period. I feel like you have to question the integrity of the ice surface at that point. But it's 1-0 Rams. Levi Wagner scores his 10th goal of the season. Team high. I don't know if I trust the Maine high school hockey website stats. I feel like the team leader for the number 1 team in Class B South has more than 10 goals, but oh well. Schaffer's wide open. Glove save by Shoemaker. Shots on goal are 20-2 right now. That is a big difference. This is going to be Rathbone versus Connor Rounds. Rounds has Julio and Proto on with him for the forward line of the Rams. Schaefer
1 minute remaining in the
and
period.
Chris Clapp on for the Ram defensive pairing. Clapp will knock it around the back wall. Clapp, a sophomore defenseman from Massabesic. Proto broken up by Rathbone, and he'll take it the other way. Looking for the equalizer, fires glove save by Peters, the sophomore from Gorham. Once again, it was Peyton Wilkins who started the last game against Brunswick Freeport. Shots on goal now 20-3. Landry versus Wagner for the face-off. It's Houston and Lyons on. Puck one back to the 7-foot-tall Jackson Altham, and clearly offsides. Boak carried into the zone. Houston was far over the blue line. Neutral zone face-off. There's 30 more seconds to go in this period. Puck drop one cleanly by Landry back to Ned Boak. McCormick broken up by Lyons. Wagner deflected by Landry and left off to Zach McCormick with speed. He gains the zone. McCormick fires, broken up by Drew Wilson, and flies over the net. Just 10 seconds to go now. Shot is wide of the net. Rocket into the glove of Shoemaker, moves it off to kill the remainder of the period. We thank you all for joining us here on Brunswick High Sports Network. Brandon Ware on the camera, Robert Bowen on the microphone, and Connor Schofield himself on the scoreboard, sponsored by Singer Domingo Sportside Real Estate. 1-0 after one, the lone goal scored by Gorham's senior forward Levi Wagner on a very bizarre score. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second period of action here between the Brunswick Freeport Dragons and the Gorham Massabesic Rams. After one, it is 1-0. The lone goal scored by Levi Wagner as he jammed the puck in the pipe after Shoemaker knocked the goal off its pegs by a few inches. That was the third time in the period that Shoemaker had knocked the goal off. And it comes back to bite him the third time around. But 1-0. Last time these two teams played, it was a 3-1 win by the Rams. Salco gains his own, leaves it off to Nat Rathbone. Rathbone's open in the slot. He fires, save made by Peters off his leg pad and to the boards. Knocked to Altham. Jackson Altham will give it up the ice, too far for Cam Bork. No icing though. The official ruled that Boak could have stopped the puck. That one off the post by Bork. The rebound is in the crease now, and the official blows the whistle. And guess why? It's because the goal is off its pegs. That's the fourth time this game that has happened to Shoemaker's net. Now, of course, shots on goal are 22-4, so Shoemaker has many more opportunities to knock it off, but he's knocked it off 4 times. Grant Peters has knocked it off 0. You'd start to maybe wonder if it's on Shoemaker. He'll leave it to Wilson. Shot by Bork, save, rebound. Boba does not allow Sawyer Smith to get a shot off. That would have been a golden scoring chance. Rathbone carries into the zone. He is offside. I believe they're going to say it was Kittinger over the line first. Or maybe just himself, Rathbone, entering before the puck did. Unsure, but either way, neutral zone face-off. Shots on goal 23-4 now in favor of the Rams. Dragons still yet to have a settled offensive possession. Puck drop is won by the Rams in Levi Wagner, the lone goal scorer. Copeland is putting pressure on the puck, and Bowditch nearly carried it into the slot. Here's Waterman hit by Copeland, but Wagner's got it entering the zone. Fires, gloved by Shoemaker, couldn't freeze it though. Waterman centers to Wagner, hits off his skate. Would have been a nice one-timer attempt if it had been a better pass. Offside, neutral zone face-off upcoming. Dorsey, Copeland, and Bowditch stay out. They're the first line today, with Jameson Palmer being out with an injury that he suffered on Monday against York. Drew Wilson knocks it towards Bowditch, cut off by Isaiah Waterman, the freshman from Gorham. Collins is open, save made by Shoemaker. That's his 24th already. Copeland up ice, Dorsey leaves it off to Cole Bowditch. Bowditch back to Dorsey. Dorsey to Bowditch. Trying to find Dorsey once again. Waterman cuts it off. Dorsey's got it though. Sampson has it cut off by Provost. Provost enters the zone. Poke by Bobuff. Wagner tries to center. It's broken up by the skate of Avery Sampson. Dorsey knocks it to himself and a chance for the Dragons. 2 Rams get back on defense though. Dorsey, nice pass to Copeland, who fires, gloved by Peters, but a nice chance. Evan Dorsey really creating all the offense here in the second period for Brunswick Freeport. That was a great play by him, and it generates an O-zone face-off, but the third line on for the Dragons with Lyons, Landry, and Houston. Landry loses the draw. Here's Chris Clapp knocking it towards Schaefer. Lyons nearly stole the puck. Kept in, though, by Sampson. Sampson on net, save by Peters. Lions fans on it, and here comes Croto the other way. Has just Nile in front of him. Croto fires it wide, broken up by Ryan Nihill, the sophomore from Freeport, usually playing forward. Clap fires broken up by Houston. Croto couldn't get the shot off. Clears the zone for what should be an icing, and it will. Offensive zone face-off for the Rams. The Dragons send out Wilson and Bobuff, as well as that second forward line of Rathbone, Salco, and Kittinger. The Rams have out Connor Rounds, Croto, and the face-off is won by Rounds right to Croto. Save rebound is also stopped by Shoemaker. Croto's open, has the open Schaefer. Schaefer on net, save, rebound, goes in the back of the net. Tyler Croto makes it 2-zip Rams on the 29th shot on goal for the Rams this game. Shoemaker made the initial stop. The rebound went to Croto in the slot, and he puts it right below the crossbar. Tyler Croto, the sophomore forward from Gorham, one of the 20 Rams on the team. There are 8 Mustangs from Massabesic. Nice pass by Wilson to Kittinger. Kittinger off the back wall. Rathbone wins the race. And we'll try to get some settled offense for Wickport.
Rams goal scored by number 88, Tyler Croto. Assistant number 91, Ethan Schaefer. Time to go 3 minutes, 33 seconds in the second period. That's Croto and Schaefer at 3:33.
They credit Schaefer with the assist on that goal by Croto. Rathbone could not pass that puck to himself. Grayson Doyle across as Clapp enters the zone. Pass goes through and back into the Ram defensive zone. Dragons get a change with Dorsey, Copeland, and Bowditch coming on. Here's Sawyer Smith gaining the zone. Broken up by Sampson and wide. Giving up the ice and open is Carter Copeland. Schaefer's looking to cut off his rush, and he does. Puck back to Peters, left off from McCormick. McCormick. Bowditch steals the puck. Backhand towards Copeland in the slot. Copeland to Dorsey, no, broken up. Dorsey turns around, shot save by Peters. McCormick has it, poked by Copeland. It goes to Dorsey. Dorsey's entering. Copeland's open. Couldn't handle a puck. Would have been a golden scoring chance for Copeland. Dorsey's got it the other way, though. Bowditch is open in the slot. Bowditch also fans on the shot. And for Evan Dorsey, 2 assists left out on the ice. He's been playing fantastic hockey. Save somehow won't go. Shoemaker went pipe to pipe again. That is his specialty. Laying out to stop that play. And this time, it will find the back of the net. Couldn't do it twice. 3-zip Rams. Credit this one. Is it Croto again? Oh no, I believe it is Grayson Doyle, the freshman from Massabesic, yes, with the score. Shoemaker with a beautiful save, laying out to stop the initial shot. And then about 10 seconds later, it's Doyle wide open, going forehand, backhand, and making it a 3-score advantage for the number 1 ranked team in Class B South. Altham fires, gloved by Shoemaker. Shots on goal are now 32-7 in favor of the Gorham Rams. Landry on with Lions and Houston. Face-off won by the Rams on net, backhand save by Shoemaker. Wagner gives it up to Waterman. Waterman has it, fires, save, Shoemaker, rebound, out to Landry.
Rams goal scored by number 18, Grayson Doyle.
Lyons could not knock it to himself.
And number 16, Zach McCormick.
Here's McCormick, who just had the assist. Altham fires, stopped by Shoemaker for the 35th shot on goal for the Rams. It is just very telling. The Rams feel like they've played about 10 minutes of game time of settled offense in the Dragons zone. For the Dragons settled offense, they've maybe played 30 seconds, could be only 20. And here's some more settled offense as Waterman settles. Altham's got it, hits off the outside of the net, and is the goal off its pegs again? Are we? Beware, first I show up and I have to pay for parking. This is the only college I've ever seen that has paid public parking to just go and watch a game. And then we get into the rink and the goal comes off its pegs 5 times. Are we kidding? I don't know what the operation is looking like at the University of Southern Maine, but we got it. I don't know where my money is going for the paid public parking if it's not going towards keeping the goal on the pegs. Here's Collins, giving up the ice. Boak breaks it up, but it's a chance the other way for Connor Rounds. Offside is the call. Dragons send on Anasio and Sampson. Sam Jansen's still out, missing his second game. He'll be back for the Dragon playoff game next week, currently against York, which is not a great matchup. The Dragons have yet to score a goal against York this season. That's the only team where that is the case. In those 2 games, it was 9-0. It's also very telling. Ethan Patterson goes out of the game, and the Dragons immediately let in 2 goals. Shot is broken up by Anasio. I did get a look at Ethan during the period intermission. He had his right shoulder iced up, wrapped up. Oh my gosh. 6th time. The goal is off the peg for the 6th time. Where is my parking money going? Where is it going, Beware? Where's the money going? Can we spend it on the ice maybe? Why is the rink red when USM's colors are blue and yellow and white? Why is the whole rink red? I don't know. Well, that's 6 times that the goal has come off its pegs. Anyway, Ethan injured his right shoulder earlier this game. Already had a left shoulder injury that he was coming back from. Bodic trying to send it to Copeland. He does. Copeland fires. And it's a save by Peters. Peters didn't know where it was. He looked behind him.
I was toting my back along the dusty Winnemucca Road. When along came a semi.
I've Been Everywhere by Johnny Cash. Great song.
If you're going to Winnemucca Mac, you can ride.
Dorsey versus Sawyer Smith.
Climbed into the cab.
Wins it back to Boba. Off the wall towards Copeland. Here's Drew Wilson. Copeland has it stolen by Chris Clapp. Clapp up the ice, broken up looking for Grayson Doyle, who just scored. Shoemaker scoops it up. Once again, big thank you all for joining us here on Brunswick High Sports Network. Connor Schofield doing a great job on our scoreboard, sponsored by Singer Domingo Sportside Real Estate. Next game on BHSN will be tomorrow night at 8:30, the Class A North final between Brunswick and Camden Hills in boys basketball. Whether that game will be a just radio broadcast without a camera or a full regular stream is yet to be determined, but we're talking to some Maine state senators to try to be able to broadcast the game, as well as some MPA officials. I'm sure it'll be fine, but you know, if you want to call the MPA and say, hey, you guys should allow nonprofit student broadcasts to commentate the games, I think you guys maybe should email them. It's up to you, but loved by Shoemaker. But at the very least, we'll have a radio broadcast for sure, so make sure you do tune in. I would recommend not paying for WHOU Live, which is where the game will be streamed. I just personally would recommend not paying for that, but that's just me. We're actually free. We're actually a free broadcast, so there is that. Shot is blocked by Kittinger back to Altham. Here's McCormick along the boards. Again, yeah, even if you paid for NFHS Network, you would still need another live stream if you wanted to watch your children or your grandchildren play their high school sports in the biggest stage. You would need to not only pay for NFHS Network, but also pay for Who Live. How crazy is that? I just learned about this. I thought that the exclusive rights contract only applied to NFHS. They have another organization that they have taken money from, and that's who's broadcasting the game. Who Live, I'm sure they're fine. I've never watched, but I don't think it's as top quality as NFHS, and it definitely isn't as top quality as BHSN. But that is where you can for sure watch the game at 8:30 tomorrow night. Here's McCormick entering the zone. Backhand back to Wagner. Rathbone wins possession. Nice move to get around the Ram in Preston Zwartz on the ice for the first time. That's going to draw a penalty. It's an interference. It was Isaiah Waterman ruthlessly going after Jonah Kittinger. He'll give him the box for the Dragons' second power play. First power play was ended 20 seconds in by Nat Rathbone getting his own penalty. But the Dragons get their second shot. Connor Schofield throws it up on the scoreboard. Great job. Once again, an 8th grade hockey and lacrosse goalie. Schofield, I'm sure you'll see him on BHSN next season on the ice and maybe the field. I think Tavs will be doing some lacrosse games next year. But we will still have Brendan Drake and JT Weaver, so I don't think he'll see the field for lacrosse. And also, I guess the hockey team's still going to have it. Colton Sampson, Michael Shoemaker, and Ryan Livesay. So you might have to wait a couple years to see Connor Schofield on the ice here on BHSN, but great kid. A shorthanded attempt for Connor Rounds to score. And that's going to be 7 times. The goal has come off its pegs for the 7th time. And once again, I beg the question, where is my parking money going? We don't know. This is a huge conspiracy, folks. Where is the money going if not towards the hockey rink? 7 times. 7 times the goal has come off its pegs. Face off one back, blocked by Kittinger. That was William Provost with the shot. Dragons still haven't had a scoring chance on this power play. Shots on goal are 41-8 in favor of the Rams. Bobuff leaves it up for Rathbone. Salco puts it into the zone. Dragon forecheck goes to work. Rathbone has it in the neutral zone. Back to Wilson. Wilson carries, has all the space. Here's Salco entering the zone. Puts it on net, saved by Peters. The rebound, Rathbone breaks it up. And now Rathbone collects behind the net, and the Dragons will get settled on the power play. Rathbone back to Drew Wilson. Wilson to Salco. Salco surveys. He's got Wilson open below the blue line. Wilson, he's got Salco open along the wing. Salco across to Bobuff. Bobuff, Rathbone's open on that low wing. He has Rathbone. And... are you kidding me? 8 times. The goal is off its peg for the 8th time. The Dragons just had their best scoring chance on a power play with Rathbone. The puck settled along the wing. Just absolutely ridiculous. This is a mockery of the sport to 8 times the goal is off its pegs. It resulted in 1 goal for Gorham, and it just stopped what would have been a golden scoring chance for the Dragon power play. This is absolutely laughable. 8 times the goals have come off their pegs tonight. And immediately they lose the face-off, and the puck exits the zone. So, why'd they blow the whistle that time? They didn't blow the whistle when Shoemaker knocked the goal off, but they blow it that time, and that kills the chance for the Dragon power play. Shorthanded chance by Collins is over the net. I don't understand why they blew the whistle there. They allowed the goal, beware. Clearly it was Peters who knocked the goal off. That releases Waterman. The Dragon power play is 0 for 2. Sampson gains the zone. Save made by Peters. Sampson towards Inacio. Dorsey to Salco. Salco had the open Kittinger, and now Kittinger will collect in the corner. Here's Provost trying to exit the zone. Now he does. Nice hit by Sampson as he knocks down, but here's Waterman, he's open. Waterman, forehand, backhand, score. 4-zip Rams. That's their 43rd shot on goal of the afternoon, rather 42nd. 3 goals this period for the Rams. Isaiah Waterman, fresh out of the penalty box, is all alone and beats Shoemaker on the breakaway. And we get to hear Freebird some more. Great song. One back to Waterman.
Rams goal scored by number 10, Isaiah Waterman. Assisted number 7, Connor Round. Time in the goal, 13.
Nihill.
The second period. That's Waterman.
Easton tries to exit the zone, cannot. Waterman's open again, centering pass there to Julio. Now back to Waterman, one-timer, somehow wouldn't go. Oh, and are we gonna have our 9th time the goal is off its pegs? You'd just love to see it. That's number 9, everyone. Had to pay for parking, but we can't pay for a proper sheet of ice. 9 times. That's 8 times for Shoemaker and 1 for Grant Peters, by the way. They still waited for the Rams to lose possession to blow the whistle, though, which is why I'm so confused why they blew the whistle during the Dragon power play when Peters' net came off. I don't know why they did, and that stopped that Dragon scoring chance, and I don't understand. Easton's too far for him. Here comes McCormick. That will be offside. 9 times. Gonna have to get a counter up here. Dragons send out Rathbone, Salco, and Kittinger for the forward line. It'll be Rathbone up against Will Haskell. Weston Haskell, rather. Rathbone breaks up the puck from McCormick, down to 20 seconds left in the second period. And once again, Ethan Patterson played the first period. The Dragons led in 1 goal, and it's a pretty funky goal as well, with the goal coming off its pegs for 1 of the 9 times. And Patterson does not play the second period after injuring his right shoulder, just coming back from a left shoulder injury. And the Dragons led in 3. And they will take a 4-0 deficit into the locker room. We'll get you guys back here in 12 minutes. Brandon Ware on the camera, Robert Bowen on the microphone, and Connor Schofield himself on the scoreboard, sponsored by Singer Domingo Sportside Real Estate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the wonderful University of Southern Maine, in which the Bulls have come up with eggs 9 times this afternoon. And the Gorham Rams have scored 4 times. They've shot the puck on net 42 times for the Dragons 10. Initial possession won by the Rams. McCormick fans on the pass. Salco couldn't handle it though. Inacio sends it to Jackson Altham. Ethan Patterson is in his street clothes after injuring his right shoulder at the end of the first period. He had just come back from a left shoulder injury. Patterson was tripped up by Isaiah Waterman and slid hard into the back wall after having a quasi breakaway. Sampson slides at the same time that a Ram player does. And I'm starting to question the integrity of this ice surface. Believe it or not. Here's Jackson Altham. Through the neutral zone, gains the offensive zone. Nice, beautiful poke by Evan Dorsey to take that puck away. Here's Sampson. Backhands to Inacio as Altham is fighting with Sampson in the defensive zone. The ref saw the whole thing, did not do anything. Altham had his stick lodged in the hands of Sampson. Sampson gave him a couple little shoves. The ref just let it go. And I didn't want any call there, but good to see the official agreed. Let the boys figure it out amongst themselves. Here's Waterman gaining the zone. High slot. Will fire. Save made by Shoemaker's skate. Puck lodged along the wall and will squirt out to Sampson, who lofts it into the netting. Dragons send on Landry Lyons and Easton. This will be Levi Wagner take the draw for the Rams. He wins it right back to Waterman, who fires. Save made by Shoemaker. Rebound out to Boak, who knocks it. Kept in the zone though by Provost. Boak clears this time. The puck will roll, spinning on its side for not an icing. Provost leaves it off for Wagner. Wagner with speed gains the zone. Nice hit by Nihil to free up Boak to collect the puck, but then a Ram got in to stop that. Provost lines up. Shot is deflected by his own teammate Julio. Here's Wagner. Centers. Provost is open. Fires broken up by the stick of Lyons and goes in the back of the net. It was tough to see what happened, but I think that the puck just lofted right over Shoemaker. I'll take a look at it. Credit Provost with the score. Oh my goodness, yeah. That just went about 20 feet in the air and went right over Shoemaker. He did not see it. He was screened by a couple of Rams. And it's 5-zip. And it's the 5th time that we've heard Freebird. Wilson off the wall.
Rams goal scored by number 12, Will Provost. Assist to number 34, Levi Wagner. Time of the goal.
On a round, fires over the net, hits the glass. Kittenger's got it, leaves it up for Rathbone, and Salco can't poke it to himself. Kept in his zone by Rounds, broken up by Boba. Boba breaks up another pass attempt. across. Here's Clapp towards the net. And a score. McCoy dished it right to, not sure who put it in the back of the net. Oh, it's Connor Rounds, of course, the senior forward from Gorham. Rounds, one of the guys that I've announced games of all 3 years here on BHSN. Or rather on Facebook the first year. Colton Sampson's going in for Michael Shoemaker. Definitely not Shoemaker's best night, but at the same time, he saw 46 shots, so I'm not really going to complain too much about 40 saves from the junior from Brunswick. Coach Hagman speaking to him. I also can't get too mad at Shoemaker at all when he has possibly his two best defensemen out there with Patterson out and Sam Jansen also out. Dragons have rotated their goalies all year long. Sampson has made 3 starts. He went 2-1 in those 3 starts. Ryan Livesey has started 2 games as well against Greeley and York. Fun fact about Ryan Livesey's 2 starts, the Dragons scored a total of 0 goals in those 2 games that Livesey started. But he did make 50 saves against York that one time. That was pretty cool. Here's McCormick fires, blocked by Avery Sampson. Sampson across too far for Dorsey. He puts it wide. Sawyer Smith now. Colton Sampson makes the save. And a chance here for the Dragons. It's Evan Dorsey, a 2-on-1 with Boach in the slot. Dorsey surveys, fires, glove save by Peters. Not going to say for sure, but of course, as a very positive person, I may or may not have predicted a 7-0 win for Gorham this game. Again, I may or may not have. I for sure might not have, but I might have also predicted a 7-0 win for Gorham. So they're right on the brink of being right on the money with that score prediction, which I may or may not have had. Save Sampson off his leg pad, he'll freeze it. I may or may not have said that as my score prediction. I probably did not, because it'd be a very negative outlook before the game. Definitely would not have had that. But with Ethan Patterson out, there's a lot of room for negativity. The Dragons will go on to the playoffs. Every team makes the playoffs in Class B South. 8 teams. Dragons are ranked 7th right now. Centering pass broken up by Nihill. Lions too far for Boak, but he deflected it, so no icing. Even though he deflected it before the red line. So I thought that would still be an icing, but what do I know? Save Sampson, rebound paddled aside. And we'll get a whistle. I believe it's going to be a penalty against Gorham, I think. It's my best guess. I think they're going to get Sawyer Smith for something. It will be number 2 in white, Sawyer Smith. 2-minute minor for cross-checking. As now the Rams are up to 50 shots on goal. That's their 3rd penalty. Dragons are 0 for 2 on the power play. Rathbone loses the draw. Collins. Here's the zone with William Provost. Connor Schofield is still in this game, though. He still put up the power play. He's had my phone for the past couple hours now, so I do hope to track him down after the game. Wouldn't mind getting my phone back. But Cornerscope are doing a fantastic job on the scoreboard, sponsored by Singer Domingo Sportside Real Estate. And Rams clear the zone again. Save made by Sampson. Bobuff to Salco, off the mark. And here's Collins. Salco towards Wilson up the ice, cut off by Haskell. A nice move there by Zwart. Zwart gives it back, winding up and over the net. Provost. Shots on goal 51-11 right now. Here's Provost. Back across to Collins. Collins too far for Zwart. Bobuff has it. For the Dragons are actually on the power play right now, not the penalty kill, believe it or not. They have yet to have the puck in the offensive zone during this power play, other than that initial faceoff. And nice job by Collins to collect. Evan Dorsey, maybe a chance, but won by Clapp. He'll try his best on the forecheck though. Dorsey's got it. Dorsey trying to center towards Bowditch, the Dragons' first chance of their power play, but it does now end, and Sawyer Smith out of the box will take into the offensive zone. Smith cuts back, high slot, fires, and goes far down. Sawyer Smith releases right out of the penalty box, goes on the breakaway, and makes it 7-0, as foretold by myself. Maybe I wouldn't predict they would lose 7-0. Why would I do that? I would not do that. But I may have said that score. I may or may not have. So may or may not have been right on the money. Of course, I did not predict 7-0. Why would I do that? But that could have been a string of numbers that came out of my mouth, and we are currently right on the money here late in the third period. But what a shot by Sawyer Smith. That's the odd construction of this rink, the penalty box being opposite the benches allows for the player who just served the penalty to come out pretty undetected from the defending team. And that was Smith, who beat Sampson under the bar. Best goal so far today by either team. And that's going to be the 10th time the goal is off its pegs. Altham puts it back on, and it still will stop. Very nice. Thank you. What? Tenth time. Once again, I don't know where my money is going from the parking fee if the goal is coming off its pegs 10 times.
Rams goal scored by number 2, Sawyer Smith. Assistant number 6, Andrew Collins. Time of the goal, 8 minutes, 10 seconds of the third period.
Here's Theo Lyons across to Heaston. Heaston can't settle the puck, and it exits the zone. Heaston's got it. Back to Lyons. Boak. Trying to center to Landry. It does squirt through, straight up in the air. Peters is able to collect in his glove. Maybe the best, closest to scoring the Dragons have been all game. Sitting here at 7-0. Dragons 0 for 3 on the power play this game. Face-off is won by Grayson Doyle. Big hit along that back wall. Lions nearly put it on net. Bork lays it up the ice for Croto, who has scored today. Croto fires again, deflected. Very telling once again in the one period that Ethan Patterson played at defense for the Dragons. The Dragons let in 1 goal, and in the 2 that he did not play, they've let in 3 apiece. Turnaround shot by Bork. Saved Sampson. Boak fans on the pass. Hit there on Doyle. Nice piece of skating by Bork. And, oh my God. The 11th time tonight. The goal is off its pegs this afternoon. 11 times. 2 by Sampson, 8 by Shoemaker, and 1 by Peters is the official count. The 11th time, are we so serious? I think it's off again. That's going to be 12. The goal is definitely off, but we just decide arbitrarily when to blow the whistle for the goal being off. Kettinger will carry. He's got Salko to his right. Kettinger centers to Salko. Salko couldn't bring it back to his forehand. Looked like the goal came off. Salko back to Boba, who is stripping the puck by Cam Bork. Nice move on Wilson. Bork fires deflected into the netting. And we'll see. I thought the goal came off. We might still be at 11. Let's see what the ref does. And he's going to fix it. Yeah, we're going to count that. That's the 12th time tonight, or rather this afternoon. The 3rd for Sampson, Shoemaker at 8, and Peters only on 1. So between the two teams, it's 11 for Brunswick and 1 for Gorham. But I think that's more of a credit to the zone time. Shots on goal are 55-13 in favor of Gorham. But yeah, 12 times the goal has come off its pegs this wonderful afternoon. I started making fun of it after 4 times, I think. Maybe after 3, I drew attention. And now we're at 12. That's going to be a trip on 63 in White, Weston Haskell. Dragon power play gets their 4th attempt. They're 0 for 3 thus far. They'll send on Copeland, Dorsey, and Bowditch to try to put one in the back of the net and ruin my score prediction. It's Inacio and Sampson on defense for the Dragon power play. Bowditch, Copeland, and Dorsey, as I mentioned, are on the power play. Dorsey versus Jackson Altham for the offensive zone face-off for Brunswick Freeport. This could be the only zone time they get during the power play, so watch carefully. And Inacio cannot keep it in the zone. Off to Sampson. Gains the zone. Sampson loses it to Sawyer Smith. Altham knocks it up the ice. Colton Sampson stops it off for Inacio. Inacio, nice move on Altham, but he gets bumped to the boards by that very tall man. Probably the tallest hockey player in the state, at least that I've seen. Class A could have a taller, but I tend to doubt it. Copeland broken up. Smith puts it wide of the net. That was Smith winding up. Chance for Inacio, centers towards Bowditch. Clears the zone to Avery Sampson. And the Dragons currently in their 2 to Sampson, to himself. Peters makes the stop. In their 2 February vacation games, the Dragons are currently outscored 13-0. Shots on goal are 55-14 in favor of the Rams. Pass gets through to Boak. Bowditch lays it up to Dorsey. Maybe one last 2-on-1 for the Dragon power play. 15 seconds. Dorsey centers to Copeland. Copeland save, and that'll be 13. Not the same type of goal off its peg since Dorsey did take it out, but we're still going to count it 13 times. The goal has come off its pegs this game. That is the second for Peters' net. Rathbone versus Croto on the face-off. And in 5 seconds, we will have even strength once again. Here's Croto, fires and scores. Dang it. Then the 7-0 score prediction is off the table. I was close, beware.
Now we're on to running time.
All right, guys, I'll come clean. It is true. I did predict 7-0 for Gorham, so now as it turns out, I was being positive. Now, as it turns out, I was being optimistic.
Rams goal is second in the game, scored by number 88, Tyler Croto.
That's the second for Croto. And the Dragon power play this week is now 0 for 10. 0 for 6 last game against York. Kinger's open up the ice. Boak cannot get it to him. Has Salco instead. Salco puts it towards the net, blocked by Eli Castles on the ice for the first time. Croto makes a move, gains the zone, fires, broken up by Boak. Croto centers, Rathbone's got it. Rathbone, nice move, kicks it towards Salco, cut off. But Salco will win that race to the puck in the zone. Salco broken up, and here's Croto the other way. He's got 2 goals, looking for a hat trick. Croto broken up by Boak. Croto puts it wide. With Ethan Patterson in the game, the Rams scored once, and without him, they score 7 times. And outshoot Brunswick Freeport 56-15. Croto gains the zone. Nope. Kick aside by Bobuff, rather. 20 seconds left. Landry. He's got Heaston, who tried to wind up on the slap shot, could not get it off. Cam Bork on net, save Sampson. 2 more seconds to go. And that'll do it. A complete domination by the Gorham Rams. They win 8-0, and the Dragons finish their regular season 4-14. That York game, beware, that York game cursed everything. The Dragons won the state championship, come back the next year, they go 15-2 and lose in the first round of the playoffs to York, and since then they have won a grand total of 12 regular season games. 8-0, 57-15 are the shots on goal counter. The Dragons will play York in the playoffs next week, right here on BHSN. Outscored by them 9-0 in the 2 meetings. Dragons outscored 14-0 in their 2 February vacation games. Go over 10 on the power play. I was very close with my 7-0 prediction. 8-0 is the final. And most importantly, the goal came off its pegs 13 times. Connor, the goal came off its pegs 13 times. Is that insane or what?
Yes. Never should happen. Get some new pegs, maybe. That's my thoughts.
Well, Connor, thank you so much for running very expertly our scoreboard, sponsored by Singer Domingo Sportside Real Estate, and for returning my phone. Just great job. Fantastic. 3 community service hours just for you.
Thank you.
As well as Connor, we had myself, Robert Bowen, on the microphone, and Brandon Ware on the camera. Thank you for joining us. 8:30 tomorrow night. Will it be a radio broadcast? Will it be a full stream? Who knows? But Brunswick boys basketball versus Camden Hills in the Class A North final.